Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Kentucky Brew Reviews. I'm Squash.
And I'm Radar. And today we have Henry McKenna. It's 40% alcohol by volume. It's a sour mash. Bourbon, actually. Wait a minute. I thought it was just... Never mind. No.
And it is
cheap. Bourbon.
Cheap
it is
stuff.
$11. got that twist off plastic cap. They're not wasting money on anything.
You would think it'd be in a plastic bottle.
I'm fine with cheap bourbon.
Great. Glad this is my glass.
There's a fly inside of it.
You got it?
I'll take this one. I already had a fly into my nose earlier. It's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm totally fine with cheap bourbon, cheap alcohol, as long as they don't do stuff like put fancy corks in them and like wax.
They shouldn't try to make them look better than they are.
If you're gonna make a cheap bourbon, make a bourbon that is cheap.
That's right.
So yeah, I'm totally fine with a cheap bourbon. Sometimes you get cheap bourbon, it's amazing, and it's worth more than you pay. Sometimes it should be even cheaper. Yeah, I agree.
We'll just have to find out. How's it smell?
Smells like a sour mash bourbon.
Yeah.
It's got that
You got a little bit of heat.
It's got that like funk that you expect from the sourness, the sour mash. Yeah, it's
nothing. There's nothing harsh in the smell.
It tastes like it smells like a really basic bourbon. Yeah. It's got the woody smell. It's got sort of a vanilla thing going on, but mostly it just smells like alcohol.
Not expecting anything insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's an $11 bottle of bourbon.
Your $11th dollar
down the hatch.
Of wine.
Mm-hmm.
That is not terrible. What are your thoughts on that, Radar?
You can tell it's a sour mash.
Yes.
It's got that like really distinct, really difficult to describe. It's got that really distinct like sweet sour taste. Okay. But I mean I'm not against that. A lot of bourbon has that.
No, it's not that bad.
I don't think that's bad at all.
Normally, if I'm paying for something around this price range, I'm only buying it to mix.
Right. I can see that.
I like things much better than this if I'm drinking it straight, but could I drink it straight? Definitely.
Oh yeah, I could totally sit and
you could sip on
while
this.
You're doing something. You could drink this. I like to stand in front of the stove and cook and drink bourbon. I have cooking bourbon that I've never cooked with. It just sits next to the stove. Yeah.
You just drink your cooking bourbon?
Julia Childs was ahead of her time.
Standing over the stove is not my prime area of drinking bourbon.
Actually, now I've ascended.
Ascended?
I have a wheelie chair that swivels.
Oh, yeah?
That's just the seat that is tall enough for me to sit down in front of the stove. I've ascended.
Well, at least you're sitting down and drinking bourbon, I guess.
That's some Wally levels of laziness.
That's something else, man.
Put that out there.
I don't know about that, man. But when I'm drinking, I like to just drinking bourbon and whiskey. I like to just sit on the couch, sit on the porch.
Mm-hmm. Outside in front of the tiki torch.
That too.
That's a really good place to sit and drink bourbon.
I don't have a tiki torch.
You gotta get a tiki torch, man.
I don't have a house.
Well, you just get a tiki torch. It's fine.
Put it on your balcony.
That's really not bad. I could sit and drink that.
Yes, definitely. I could drink this.
It's not the best cheap bourbon I don't think I've ever had, but it's definitely passable.
It doesn't stand up to Rebel Yale.
Rebel Yale?
Yeah, if I'm going for a cheap bottle.
I see. I can hear that.
Ever since we tried that on the show, I've been getting that from my mixer all the time. And
Rebel Yale's a really good choice, yeah. But as straight, I think I'll give this like a 7. Okay. Straight. It's a very decent bottle.
Yeah.
Of $11 bourbon.
Okay. Just taking the price into account, I would probably give it a 7.5. It's got decent flavor. It's cheaper than hell. I would definitely recommend trying it, especially if you're looking for something. If you're looking for something to not break the bank, still have a little bit of flavor. Mm-hmm. You can sip on it. It's not going to be your favorite, but it's not terrible.
Definitely.
Oh, he's getting more. Okay.
I didn't bring anything to mix this with.
So you're mixing it with
more? So now I'm going to go get something to mix this with.
Okay.
All right, so we've got some Milo's Lemonade to mix this with. And I've just now discovered that Squash has never had bourbon and lemonade together.
No, I've never had the thought to mix bourbon and lemonade.
You gotta. It's
normally if I'm mixing bourbon, I'm mixing with like soda.
Normally when I mix stuff with bourbon,
Coke.
I mix like just a little bit of whatever it is with the bourbon, but I really do go like 50% with bourbon and lemonade. It's a really
lemonade's gonna have like it's not gonna be as overpowering as soft drinks normally would be.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. It's the easiest mixed drink that I make.
It's
we know
what this looks like.
So it does look a little bit.
You need to drink more water, man.
A lot more water if anything is coming out like this. All right.
Barely get anything off the nose now.
It just tastes like, or it just smells like lemonade and bourbon, like sort of woody lemonade.
You don't get much but lemonade. Maybe I put a little too much in there, but
it really is. The lemonade is
it absorbs it a lot better than I thought it would.
It's a pretty good thing to mix with bourbon.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
I don't mix really good bourbon with lemonade. Like I'm not gonna be.
I don't mix very good bourbon anyway.
I'm not gonna be mixing. I'm trying to think what I've got on hand. I'm not gonna be mixing like small batch Four Roses with lemonade.
I would say once you get over at least. Once you get over like $30 a bottle, maybe $25, you're probably gonna just drink it straight.
These really sour mash bourbons go really well with lemonade.
Well, yeah,
like
the sour pairs really nice with it.
This is really good, and also Benchmark works really good with lemonade. And Benchmark is my go-to really cheap, super sour mash bourbon, but. Mixing with lemonade is a fantastic idea.
Let's say this is turning into candy. Like I can just. You don't even have to sip on this now. It mixes pretty well, but I think that's more because of the lemonade than the bourbon.
I mean, lemon is just a really good choice for cheapish bourbons.
Yeah.
You can also do ginger ale in the same way.
Not a big ginger ale fan.
I really like
personally
just a little touch of ginger ale with bourbon, but
okay.
But as a mixer, it's not going to be the star of the show. It's going to be one of those things where you mix up a mixed drink and it's like, ooh, I can barely tell this has got alcohol in it, because its biggest asset is that it is a really sour mash bourbon. Okay. So you're going to want to mix it with stuff that works with, like lemonade.
So just sour drinks, sour beverages.
Yeah.
Now, would you rate this higher as a mixer?
See, I'm okay with the way it tastes when you're sipping it too.
Yeah.
I think I am gonna bump it up to a 7.5 as a mixer.
Okay.
You can do a lot more things with this as a mixer, I feel, because like the sourdough sour meh thing starts to build up on you after a while. You can't really sit and drink that.
Okay.
Or I can't.
Yeah. I'd probably leave this at a 7.5 as well. Just. It doesn't really add anything. It doesn't really take anything away. Or, like, it does, but when one thing gets worse, the other gets better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the flavor is practically gone now of the flavor of the bourbon, but at the same time, you still get, like, a little bit of the heat on it, get a little bit of the barrel. It's still a good drink. So I'll leave it at 7.5. I would recommend it. How about you?
I think if you don't have a cheap bottle that you're already attached to...
Yeah.
Then you might start trying with a little bit of Henry McKenna.
Okay.
Go ahead and get you a bottle. It's $11.
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt.
If you don't like it, it's an $11 mistake.
You just hand it off to a friend.
Exactly. You'll eventually find somebody who will drink it.
Yeah. You find me. I'll drink it.
Anyways, if you'd like to see anything else, please leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe, check out our Facebook and Patreon
and our Instagram.
Yeah.
All of those social media.
All the social media things.
That's right.
In the meantime, I'm Radar.
And I'm Squash.
Thanks for watching.